Friday, April 12th, 1985. The teen sex comedy genre is in full swing. And quite frankly, you can't get enough. The new box has appeared at B-Side Video Rentals. The classic 80s dweeb adorns its cover with knee-high socks, one tennis shoe, and a single scuba flipper. He carries dozens of props and is about to step directly into a hotel pool where a pretty blonde awaits with a wow look on her face. A pair of frat boys laugh with a couple of girls in the background enjoying their fraternity vacation. Welcome to B-Side Video Rentals. I'm Jeremy Briggs.
And I'm Jenny Winger.
Hi, Jenny.
Hi. I'm trying to come down from the high of seeing Barbara Crampton and Kathleen Kenmont's boobies.
That's a good answer.
I mean, I've been floating like a dang butterfly.
You have been itching
week.
to talk about it.
Oh, yes. It's my favorite thing that's happened so far this year. I had a New Year's resolution to make 2024 the best year yet, and it's happened.
Barbara did that.
She did that for me. Even just looking at the cover, getting shy, like I'm about to do this.
And you know what it's all about right now? The news. April 12th, 1985, and these are your not-so-current events. Tennis star and number one ranked John McEnroe was ousted from the $500,000 Buick WCT Finals after losing to number 12 ranked Joachim Nystrom, a result McEnroe said he didn't 15 love.
A tennis joke.
Tennis. I didn't 15 love a girl.
Tension is high at the 49th Annual Masters Tournament at the Augusta National Golf Club as Gary Hallberg leads by a single stroke. But it's obvious that last year's winner Ben Crenshaw would be leading if he hadn't had that stroke.
Oh, gosh, that stroke did him in.
It did. Strokes do that to people, you know. The Masters Committee came close to admitting there was a defect in this year's course when the chairman, Howard Hardin, said the greens were too fast and too soft for his liking. Coincidentally, those were the same words he used to describe his wife. Got him!
Got him! You think he's ever been called out for having a horde on in public? His name's Horde.
That's a terrible fucking name.
3 men were indicted yesterday on charges of conspiracy to sell $5 million of heroin out of their restaurant. Authorities became suspicious when one of them was accidentally served smackaroni and cheese.
I love that place. They've got spaghetti with that China white sauce.
They got some of that black taro root soup. A grocery chain that sold milk linked to an outbreak of salmonella poisoning has agreed to clean up milk dumped into sewers and storm drains that run into a nearby creek. Authorities are concerned it will be dangerous for pets who will drink from the creek and children who play in the sewers.
That was me.
So be careful, Jenny.
I will. Be on the lookout. Thanks for looking out. The Swedish Navy fired anti-submarine grenades today at a suspected foreign submarine near the entrance of Karlshamn Harbor. After the ordeal, they all went out for anti-submarine sandwiches. The book Lesbian Nuns, Breaking Silence has officially been banned by the Roman Catholic Church. Father Connolly, spokesman for the Roman Catholic Archdiocese of Boston, referred to it as sensationalism. And I, for one, agree. Anything with lesbians is sensational.
It's sensational! Influential interior designer Angelo Donghai died of pneumonia on Wednesday. The funeral service is next Friday. So for those of you looking for the next trend in casket interiors, now's your chance.
Get on it, girl.
Get on it. Oh, today, the Illinois Supreme Court agreed to decide the constitutionality of city and state laws prohibiting the Chicago Cubs from playing baseball at night. The law originated in the 1930s because people were uncomfortable watching others gulp sloppy dogs in the dark.
Just like gulping a dog is disgusting. If I weren't vegan and mostly gay, I am now. Scientists say a new laser has measured the distance to the moon within an inch. However, there is some skepticism seeing that some male scientists can't agree on the size of an inch.
It's hard to agree.
Agriculture officials in Florida set 2,100 traps on trees attracted to Mediterranean fruit flies to prevent infestation. I think it'll work because by Florida standards, these trees are a solid 8. They're sexy trees.
Sexy trees.
Officials tried to make the trees more attractive, but couldn't figure out where to put the nipple tassels.
I love that joke. I don't care. I just want to see people searching for tree nipples.
I also just like the word nipples.
I know you.
I mean, titties is good, but nipples.
But nipples.
That's what your aunt used to call them. Oh, my nipples are sore. I must be getting the red this
My
week.
nipples be chafing.
Chafed nipples, corrados. I tried to wear a logo shirt without a bra, and that really hurts your nipples. I don't know how guys do it all the time.
The Pentagon announced that the Senate had approved the promotion to the rank of 4-star general to 2 retired lieutenant generals. Unfortunately, the 4 stars came from Gene Siskel, who I rarely agree with.
He misses the mark often.
I don't agree with you, Gene. Oh, goodness. Frank Lloyd Wright's remains were exhumed late last month, creating an uproar among family members and former associates. The exhumation and cremation were performed in fulfillment of the dying wish of his wife, Olga Ivana. Representatives of the Lloyd Wright estate said plainly, Olga Ivana dig him up. Olga want to do it. Olga want to do him up.
I love that joke. President Reagan is revamping cabinet councils. He's named 2 key aides who will supervise all aspects of domestic and economic policy. This marks President Reagan's first public acknowledgement of the existence of aides.
Oh my God, that's such a smart joke, Jenny.
I'm a smart girl. And AIDS is really in right now.
Hot topic. It's a hot button subject. A Sunday newspaper supplement, Parade, has been denied magazine status from the Publication Information Bureau for a second time, stating that there's just not enough MAGA in their zines.
There's so many things
I just wish
there.
MAGA wasn't a thing so that joke
it would
make me
I
laugh
would be
more.
much more happier if it didn't make me think of a horrible person.
Dear Mom. Okay. What? Engineers today contained a leak that threatened a key drug processing experiment and proceeded with preparations for launching the Space Shuttle Discovery on a 5-day voyage. They contained the leak by not drinking too much before bedtime.
That'll do it sometimes.
Yeah.
That's how I got through 7th grade.
That's how I got through last week.
And finally, the Chilean military junta. How do you say junta?
Junta.
Junta. And finally, the Chilean military junta approved a treaty today that settles its century-old sovereignty dispute with Argentina over the Beagle Channel. But what I'd really like Chile to approve is a little cheddar and sour cream.
Give me some of that cheddar and cream, girl.
Oh, delicious.
Come on, Chile. Give me a little breed on you. Some jive. And that was your not so current events.
If we had friends, we don't anymore.
They turned it off.
Yeah, for sure.
So, how are we going to start with this? You know what I would like to do? Let's talk about Fraternity Vacation, but I got a couple of reviews. A little
Oh, great.
Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert reviews. Bring it back to Siskel, you little
Let's see if I can
scamp.
finally agree with this guy.
Here we go. Roger Ebert, this is just a small little blurb out of his. He said, "Don't get me wrong, I have nothing against dumb sex comedies. All I object to is the fact that Fraternity Vacation is playing with a half deck, the male half. The men are characters, and the women are objects. I give it 1 out of 4 stars. Gene Siskel gives it 0 stars. And he said, yet another dim-witted college sex comedy, a film that doesn't have a single redeeming facet."
Not a single one?
Not a single redeeming facet. I mean, do they have a point?
No, because the ladies are beautiful.
Because they're objectively beautiful.
That's a redeeming quality.
It's a teen sex comedy. That's what those movies are.
Yeah.
All of them. It's from the horny male perspective because you want those little teenage. I get it. You can jump in anytime.
Well, you know the certain fact that this was actually written by a female. We debated it. But before we looked it up, I'm like, well, that could be a boy or a girl name.
Yeah.
There's no way a woman did this, and a woman did it. And then I was like, I'm fucking proud of her.
Well, we will I think we're going to definitely explore that a bit later for me. I want to because there's a certain part that I want to discuss Lindsay Harrison.
Yes.
The writer of this. But, I mean, that's what these movies are. They're always about sneaking a peek at the opposite sex.
Yeah.
And you might be able to argue not enough from the female perspective.
I mean, it depends on what kind of female you are. Like, I don't want to look at balls.
Oh.
I'm 0% interested.
Wouldn't it be great if it was just like that was a subgenre of the 80s teen sex comedy? It was just balls. It was just balls.
Like I just gotta see those balls.
Of just those balls.
Gross.
Look, do you think that this genre really works that well today?
Today? Oh, no way.
I mean, just getting even on the low budget B movie realm, you know, because you have all the ongoing American Pies that just keep
I mean, the closest thing
out.
we have to it is Euphoria, where they just objectify girls who are playing teenagers. And it's like those gratuitous sex scenes for those girls. But there's nothing wacky about it. They're all like, I'm fucking on drugs.
The thing about like this genre to me is just like, I don't understand how they're still doing some of these because, you know, back then, $5 to rent a movie was a small price to pay for some movies.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
and you had to
they're
really,
everywhere.
Like, this is the deal. Like, when I would go to my local video rental store in, like, 3rd grade, mind you, and I was renting these kind of movies where you had to go to the back room.
But you just walked right under the little saloon doors that's supposed to keep you out.
No, my mom took me in. My mom took me and said, Dad, she can get whatever she wants, you know. They're going to learn with a cigarette inside. Just get the one you want.
The ashes falling on your head.
As long as you're going to leave me alone and only bother me when you want a grilled cheese, just do it.
I just don't think there's that desire anymore for that genre. I mean, I don't know. I don't talk to a lot of 15-year-olds.
I was in 3rd grade, bro.
Seriously, I don't talk to 12-year-olds.
I don't.
Jenny, shut up. Where's the point when you try to convince someone too much? Where is that line? Because I want to be just right on this side.
You've been really trying to find it. You've been going like nobody's okay, Jeremy.
But everything's you can do it on your phone now. Everything's just there. So why spend $5 on a movie rental? These kids have it easy.
They do, but like somebody says, "Hey, can I see your phone?" They're like, "No."
No. You'll check my search history.
Do you know how lucky I am
That didn't
that
exist?
wasn't a thing? Oh my God, because
You and
I
me both,
am
sister.
so weird.
The things, they're dark.
My first time seeing boobs was sleepaway camp.
Okay.
And it was the sleepaway camp. I can't remember what number it is when they lawn mow the guy's head off. Like they're
I
buried
don't
in-
remember. Like the first one of those I saw was 3. I don't know why
Yeah.
3 was the first one I watched.
Yeah, I don't know. Like
I
whichever
don't
one
think
is
the first
available.
one was accessible. Exactly.
Yeah,
It was like,
that's
well,
the one you
this
see.
one looks like boobs, so I'm getting it.
I'm in. So I was like, my first time seeing boobs is with the first time seeing a head get lawn mowed off.
So I think of those two things.
To get lawn decapitation.
Every time you hear a lawnmower noise,
It's
your
sad
head
for
turns.
boobies.
Whoa, what's going on over there? Let's talk about this movie. So
Let's do it.
with a lot of those sex romps of the 80s, they all tended to feel a bit, run and gun. Not necessarily run and gun, but super low budget. The cinematography is always kind of a little meh,
Yeah.
a little grimy, grungy. Bunch of ragtag filmmakers going out there to do that. Fraternity Vacation does not feel that way.
No. And it
It
has
is
a big
polished.
artistic choice in the beginning with a black and
Yes.
white opening for Iowa.
Iowa is black and white train of thought.
Yeah. Yeah. Such a boring world.
At least that's the subtext that I understood. Don't come at me.
Yeah.
Is that
But
what they say?
what I really liked about the opener, one of my favorite elements of it, other than the introduction of this is what you're going to get, like this kid's a total loser, and these two guys
Right.
are like somewhat cool, but you can tell that they're just like barely surviving as cool guys.
Even,
Like they're right on the line. And then the dad comes in and he's basically like, I'm going to get a sauna and a jacuzzi for your frat house if you'll get my son laid, basically. And it's like, what?
And not only is it our main character's dad, he's also the dad on Alf.
Yeah. There's
which
a
is
lot of cool crossovers in this.
Yeah. So and so before we get into the cast itself, let's talk about the director of the Muppet movie.
Wow.
Made
Very
this
different.
little horny misogynistic sex romp. I think the movie succeeds in a way of having charm.
Yeah.
Is it super funny?
I mean, like, I didn't have a lot of laugh out loud moments that I think were them being purposely funny. I was mostly laughing at things like, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but things like them locking someone in a sauna for fun. Like,
Right.
he's going to die. Like, you can die from that. So, like, it's those kind of things that are just so absurd that I laughed about. The absurd stuff.
I didn't feel like the jokes necessarily hit, but I just thought it had charm and a heart to spare. But, personally, I don't usually think sex romps are very rompous.
No, yeah.
I don't find so much humor in a lot of them, like Porky's and Revenge of the Nerds. I didn't connect with them the way other people may have. But I don't know. Let's talk characters.
This lead guy, though, he was the most awkward. Like, I'm sitting here like, I know a lot of people have swung and missed at this, but I was thinking, like, what is this guy like in real life that he can be this way? Like, his movements, all his mannerisms, his faces, the way that he spoke, the effect in how he spoke. I was just like,
and you're referring
this is wild.
You're referring to Stephen Jeffries,
Playing
correct?
Wendell. Yeah.
Wendell, yeah. Stephen Jeffries. He, you might know him from Fright Night.
Fright Night, yeah.
Fright Night. He plays Evil Ed in Fright Night. Like, once we get out of, where did you say it was? Ohio?
Iowa.
Oh, Iowa.
Iowa. One of those over there.
Somebody who stayed in Nevada and California.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know the country. So once they get out of that, we go to, where do we go?
Palm Springs.
Palm Springs, where everything's in color. And we hit Bananarama. Boom. Bananarama has like 5 songs on here, but this first one's Shy Boy. We go directly into a montage. Or practically, they get to Palm Springs, realize he's a dork, and within the first minute, we are in your classic makeover montage, which in in most like romantic comedies happens at the 30 to 40 minute mark.
Yeah.
This
Well,
happens
we gotta
at
take
minute
care of
like
this
6.
now.
We're men. We
We're
get our
trying to get
makeovers
laid.
done now.
Yeah.
We don't have time to sit with our horniness.
We have boners, okay? You're going to ruin our boners.
So there's a real silly, over-the-top makeover.
And which, by the way,
there.
like, I know you and I have already spoken about this, but for people who have been to Palm Springs, it's the gay retirement community.
You're
so
selling it to me, girl.
I'm moving today. The fact that they make it out like Panama City or something, it's just like, what? For people who actually go to Palm Springs, it's like, when has it ever looked like this? Like, is that what it was like in the 80s? Or is it just because they could film there?
Right. It was the hot spot. And in fact, like, first we didn't even get into our main characters. So we have Wendell, who's the dork. We have 2 frat boys, Joey, played by Cameron Dye, and Mother, whose last name is
Larry
Tucker.
Larry Tucker. It's like
Larry
on
Tucker.
Mother Tucker.
Yeah.
Which I love that the mom says, "Oh, do they call you Mother because you take care of everybody?" It's like, yeah. Not because I try to bang everybody's mom.
And the dad's like, yeah, Mother Tucker, that's funny. And the mom has no idea, but he's hip to it.
Yeah. Because he's there to bargain for his son to have sex.
Right. Mother's played by Tim Robbins. Yes, that Tim Robbins.
Married to Susan Sarandon. Other hottie.
Calm down, Jenny.
There's a storm within me.
So they make it, when they make it to Palm Springs, the hot spot, that we are now introduced to 2 rival fraternity guys, Chaz and JC. And in the back seat,
the girls, Kathleen Kenway, Barbara Crampton, the dream girls of all dream girls. My 80s crushes separately
in one movie. Film. So when I said, hey, Jenny, what about this movie? You were like, oh, if you insist.
Yeah. And what's so wild is I've accidentally worked with both of them on movies. Like, I was in the same project with Barbara Crampton for Tales of Halloween. Never shot anything together, but we saw each other along the way a couple times at promotional things and stuff. And she actually is friends with my husband. And when my husband, we saw her at the 101 Diner, and I'm just sitting there while we're talking to her. I love you. And then Kathleen, I did Black Mass, the Black Mass horror movie with last year, and I had a scene with her in it, and I was just like this in front of her, like, I can't even tell you how much I'm in love with you. Like, I'm in love with you. Like, if you say the word, like, I'm moving in with you now. Give me the signal.
Was that the signal? We didn't agree on a signal. Which
right?
One is
okay.
The signal? You looking scared and nervous. Is that the signal?
Is that the signal?
You look uncomfortable. Is that it?
Oh, okay. Is that should we kiss?
So they're in the back seat, and we have no idea. Of course, first we assume they're the girlfriends.
Girlfriends, yeah.
But they're definitely not the girlfriends.
And if they are, it's like, we need to talk about your relationship.
They're just girls who are up for anything.
Ready to party.
They're like, what should we do? Yes. And those guys are like, they invaded our spot.
Yeah. We own Palm Springs, basically. So this is the weirdest fucking prank I've ever seen. And the fact that anyone thinks a female would go along with this prank is it's just out of this world.
But like, so let's just explain it. They go to the pool. Well, first they see a hot lady through a telescope. This will pop up many times, or it's a camera, because Wendell is part of the astrology club or something like that. So they see Ashley through that, and they're like, "Oh, she's the Mount Everest,
Major League."
Yeah, she's Major League. We have to just go,
to the minors.
AAA. Yeah, we're
not going to go to the majors.
We don't have time to invest in the majors.
She looks rich.
Exactly.
You know?
And so they go down to the pool, and who do they see? So two readily available women who
Yeah.
are very
Who
eager
they
to.
call minor league. And I'm like, yeah, right. You are not worthy.
So what were their character names in it? It was
Chrissy and Marianne.
Chrissy and Marianne. So they see Chrissy and Marianne, Barbara and Kathleen, and who are very eager to get into.
Oh, they need somewhere to go just relax for a minute. Cool.
And these guys are just like, hey, we scored already. So they bring them up, and then what do they tell them? They say, we do everything together.
Yeah.
So they're going to share a bed because there's only
She's
one
like a
main
queen
room.
size. It's so great. I just think there's nothing better than 4 people in a queen bed. Oh, okay. And so the guys go and get in the bed and they start making
they
out.
strip naked.
Making out.
But
they're making out first.
First of all, the guy, did they make out before the guys get naked?
They make out before the guys get naked. Because they start making out, and so they're laying on top of that, and he immediately goes to holding her butt. He's got his hands on Kathleen Kinmott's butt. And it's going, and then they get up there and go, untie my top. And
they strip each other.
Yeah, and the guys still have their swim trunks on at this point. They strip each other, and they're completely 100% naked, everything out. And then it's like, oh, hold on, we'll be right back. And they go out, and the guys are like, yes. And they start ripping the sheets off and take their swim trunks off, and they're in there ready. And then they hear the girls.
Yes.
Talking about having herpes. My doctor says that they're working on a cure for herpes. And the guy's like, oh, God.
Yeah. First of all, what are the odds that both of them are like, right, we have to bail because we're going to get herpes? One of them would be like,
I'll wear a condom. What are the chances?
It's fine. That's the end of their prank. The guys are like, no, we got to go. We got to go. It's
so they say someone died. And they're going to a funeral.
Right, but you brought this prank to a point. You invested a full strip makeout session in front of these dudes.
Pussy's out. Gotcha.
But these guys strip naked, so they're naked in bed together. And our two rival frat guys don't bust in, rip the sheets off, and take their pictures?
No. Instead, they say, welcome to Palm Spring, assholes.
It's like, oh, you got me, but also, did you?
Did you?
I got a strip show.
I got to make out with hot girls.
Yeah. So, poor prank. Poor planning on that prank. I mean, it's the 80s. You could have been like, yeah, you guys are so gay.
Yeah, bullying was so extreme back then. It's like, this is how we're pranking you now. And later we're going to try to kill you.
Oh, the frat boys see Ashley. So these guys have already seen Ashley.
What the
now
hell
the frat
is
boys see Ashley. And here is where our inciting incident for all you riders.
Yes.
Happens. These two rival groups make a surprise sex bet.
Sex bet. $1,000 who can bang Ashley first.
So it is on.
It's on and popping.
So we're at the club with a DJ that's on coke, is what you're telling me.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
They give him the prep.
Yes. They give the typical, you don't go too high. You have to know who you are.
Yeah.
You're kind of a dork, so you go mid-range. You can't go out of your league.
Oh, DJ Madman Mac. Genevieve informed me that was his name. G-Money. So they tell him don't go out of your league, and then they pick a beautiful girl. Oh, what about her? It's like, she's hot. Yeah, great. But then they tell him exactly what to say, and I like the progression of it's like 3 steps until they're talking about a parking lot blowjob.
Which, well, because he goes up there and he does the typical thing, which, by the way...
Can I buy you a drink?
By the way, the actress that plays
Nicole. Yeah.
Amanda, is it Bierce? Is that Bierce?
From Married with
Bierce?
Children.
Married with Children, yes. Who she also co-stars with Stephen Jeffries in Fright Night.
Yes, Marcy
They're in
Darcy from Married with Children, who actually, Casper, my husband, was in Married with Children, and I got to have like a lunch with her at a con one time. She's actually insanely lovely.
So Fright Night came out like 6 or 7 months after Fraternity Vacation. So they worked back-to-back films together.
Aw.
Yeah.
They actually did have cute chemistry together.
I thought they did.
Yeah.
And so like this whole thing, she's, blowing him off. Can I buy you a drink? Hey, would you like to dance? Doing all those. And she's like the silliest, oh, heavens, no. I'm not interested. Well, then I guess a blowjob in the parking lot's out of the question.
Oh, I love a man with a sense of humor. Let's go get some ice cream. And there's just like stars in her eyes about this. And I was like, what the hell? Where is this going? And then you later on get why, which we'll get to. But at first I'm just like, how in the hell did this turn like this?
But it does start off kind of nice. Once her walls are broken down, they do go get ice cream. They talk.
Yeah.
The other guys think he scores because he made it home first, and the rule was who's ever back with a lady first gets the big room. The other two have to sleep in the bunk beds.
Yeah. And he's like serenading her and
Wayne Newton. It's just we're going to do Wayne Newton impressions.
And she didn't get up and leave. So like, oh, she must really like him. Like she seemed to be genuinely enjoying it.
Yeah. And I do think that they you understand their chemistry and you're like, oh, okay, this totally feels appropriate.
Yeah.
They did very well in their chemistry read. They had to have.
They did. Knocked out of the park. Yeah, it was good. So then this is the thing that I really love. It's the next day at the pool, where they come up with this stupid plan, be like, hey, you got to get over her. She didn't like you because of how rich you are.
To hit on Ashley. So that our mother and Joey come up with a plan to hit on Ashley. Because
they think it's going to work.
They see Wendell's like, oh, she felt sorry for him and then liked him. So we have to do that.
We got to do that. We got to make her feel sorry for you. So Tim Robbins, his character, Mother, is taking the hit of being the wingman and not getting to be with her. So Joe is sad.
He had
and
a better chance because he's tall.
He's tall. Like a lot of women just want tall.
That trumps a lot of things.
It sure does. So he does a really great performance of over dramatizing this breakup, and she seems interested in like listening. And then Chaz comes in a parachute. In a parachute. Landing in the pool, hyping everybody up.
about sex advice. Sorry, guys, my book's coming out. It's about sex.
What? Why are you doing this?
But everyone except Ashley is impressed. Everyone's like, damn.
I mean, back then, like, how random would it be for a parachute man to just come and land in the middle of the pool? Like, that would have been something everybody would have paid attention to.
It would have been. But then the moment he gets out and then is like, I'm promoting my sex book.
Oh, never mind.
Is that what this is?
Yeah, hand me my beer.
And so then we get a lot of, like, back and forth of, like, trying to impress Ashley. And probably my favorite of all of them is when Chaz walks into her aerobics
yoga studio. Yeah,
it's like a yoga aerobics class, and they have a pommel horse.
Of all the things,
why is it there? This is not a gym.
But I love that his shot is him just doing like this, and then it's a shot of legs doing this.
Legs doing actual things, and then him.
It's so dumb. And then he's like showing her how to do this.
Yeah.
Oh, does that feel better? Yeah, that's
Right,
way
because
better.
he comes in and he's like, really what my book's about is about like your body and being physical and learning how to.
It mixes East and West. Okay. It's just such a fucking weirdo. And he's always talking with that weird voice. By the way. Just the only thing that I want to say about the sauna is how fucking crazy it is. That's the prank that the Chaz and JC pull on them is, okay, you guys don't get too hot. And then they lock them in a fucking
sauna
to die. And then, so they get out and Tim Robbins sees that Ashley's coming.
Right.
He's like, this is going to be great. And he like, don't do it. You've got every reason to live. Let me in there. Don't do this. And act like he's going to kill himself because he's so upset over losing this girlfriend. And then Ashley is a kind person. But what I love is she's like, get him out. Take his chunks off and pour cold water on him.
You do all of this stuff. I'm going to give you all this medical advice, but you strip him naked. You do these things. And Tim Robbins is like, I don't. Mother's just like, I don't want to do all of that.
And
but
what guy wants the first time the hot lady sees his penis to be when it's cold water being poured on it and he's laying there like a flaccid dick?
I'll put myself on that list.
I just love this scene. This scene is one of my favorite scenes of the whole movie. That's why
and then he convinces her that, and she goes like, yes, I will. I will take him out.
How can I help?
Right. How can I help him? Like, I want to make sure that he's
he just needs a woman to listen to him.
With no sexual pressure at all. Like, really emphasizing he doesn't want the pressure of boobs in his face.
No, he just wants someone to listen to him. He's a sensitive guy right now. He's just had his little penis sprayed with cold water in front of you. Okay,
we're making a lot
harmless. He seems harmless. I'll take him out. I'll do it.
So then they set up, because really all they need, because there's a discussion with the rival frat of how are we going to prove
it? Yeah.
How are we going to prove that you scored? Well, we have to find out ways to prove it. So Mother and Joey set up the camera on top of the roof to prep so that they can get their pictures ready. So that they can get, their proof of the happenings of that night.
Yeah.
And while they're setting everything up, Ashley's in there and she's changing. And, Mother is like taking pictures of her topless the whole time going, I'm so bad. This is bad behavior. And he keeps doing it. This is perverted behavior. I am a terrible person.
He's
just straight up like that is going to, for an audience, that's going to calm us and be like, he knew it was wrong. He knew it was wrong.
Yeah.
But like he did it, which I don't agree with, but he knew.
And what I love is that there's a woman who was hired just to be her body double that was the most objectified woman in the whole film. Here's just a close-up of just her butt. Like, the whole picture is just her crack in her cheeks. There's a shot, and then just her tits. No head, just her tits. And she's like, Mom, I booked a movie.
Mama,
darling?
My titties booked a movie. You said my tits weren't big enough to do anything, but I came to prove you wrong. You said they were worthless and men wouldn't appreciate them because they're too small. But guess what?
Look at my nipples now.
You said one was a little off-centered.
Uh-huh.
But they're Hollywood famous now, Mama. It's like, it's a New World Picture, sweetheart.
Goes to the
it's
premiere.
not Hollywood.
She goes to the premiere of this movie. Oh, who were you? How was it in the movie? Like, I was the titties and the butt that got spied on.
It was an insert shot. That was the booby insert.
Oh, Lord. The things that we do. This is going to lead me. I might get an agent after this. Yeah, like I remember I booked something and it was one of the producers of Seinfeld. And they were like, Yeah, like it's gonna be a little degrading of a role, but like you're like in sexy lingerie and you're playing like a music video slut. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I go and the director says to me, now and the person cast as the lead in this was an 18-year-old boy. And at the time I was like 25. And they were like, okay, now pretend like you're blowing it. And I was like, no. And they got so mad at me. And I was like, well, I fucking just wasted my day. So, like, I felt for this woman, the titty woman, so much of that moment because I've been the girl they tried to bully into doing weird ass shit. Like, you don't say no to him.
If you're gonna like book me, that's got to be in my like. That's something you got to list.
Yeah, and
not that you can't do it, but like you got to list it. You can't just spring that on someone.
So here's my speculation. My speculation is that they told her, oh, it's brief nudity. And then it's just zoom in on her actual private parts. Like, she thought, oh, like I get to like move around. No,
keep moving.
Nipples.
Why is it
butt
so?
crack.
Wait, what? And she just happens to be an expert on lenses. Wait, what? Why are you on that lens? That's a zoom lens.
That's a very intimate lens. We're getting your hole.
I thought this was a wide shot. Your hole. You said we were getting the whole thing, not the whole thing.
Not the whole. Oh, yeah. So I related to her a lot in this moment and feel bad for her. This was a low point for the film, in my opinion.
One, I don't think it's the lowest point of the film, however.
We haven't met the chief police officer yet.
Oh, when was that part? When did Wendell...
Yeah, so he goes out with, like he starts actually dating. Wendell starts actually dating, what's her name? Marcy Darcy
Nicole.
Is what I call her, Nicole. And she says, oh, my dad wants to meet you.
Right.
And he's like, okay.
But Wendell accidentally...
Yes.
So he accidentally falls off the roof and his pants fall down.
Because he's looking, because they had his his telescope camera on the roof. So he's up there like, oh. And he starts diddling with it. And then he falls and slips, hanging from the roof. His pants fall down. And then he lands on the balcony of this older, fat lady. Who's also in Palm Springs.
Yes. Who's like, this little pervert's trying to rape me.
Right. So Wendell's going to jail. And while Wendell's in jail while they're out on the date, right? When he's on the date with Ashley and he acts like he's going to die.
Yes.
Joe acts like he's just going to die and he needs to go into Ashley's apartment to lie down and she's comforting him. And then he attempts to rape her.
I don't know if it's... I'll disagree. I don't think it's an attempted rape. It's 100,000%.
rape. Then Wendell got booked for attempted rape.
True. But I'm saying it is 1,000% sexual assault.
Absolutely.
Because he was just trying to like get her on the bed and make out.
Forcefully pulling her by the neck.
Pulling her. And this little scene here, I want our on-set speculation because not the actual forcing sexual assault that is happening, but for Mother's reaction on the rooftop.
He's blowing it.
Because like it keeps coming back to him, and it's just the director and him, and
now
he's directing him
neck.
She's putting her, or she's helping him down on the bed. She's comforting him. Oh God, good. And he's okay, great.
Now he gets really aggressive.
He's assaulting her.
Oh, he's blowing it.
You're blowing it, dude. No, but don't overdo it because he's still one of our leads, so we still have to like him. Oh, shucks. Oh, darn. Really messing it up for us, buddy. But it's bad. It just felt like he was stuck in the middle of like, your friend's assaulting her.
Yeah.
But we still have to like him. Okay.
Yeah, we've all been on those sets as actors. We've been on those sets where you don't get to see what you're reacting to. And then when you see everything cut together, you're like, I would have reacted differently to that.
It was definitely not like he grabbed her and is trying to like wrap his legs around her and just stick his tongue down her throat, like very forcefully.
He's like, I'm sorry. I was
No,
out
I'm
of my
sorry,
head
that
for a
was
minute.
not cool.
It's okay, but you do have to leave.
But I'm gonna like put my foot down and very kindly ask you to leave.
It's like, no, I'm calling the fucking police if you don't get the fuck out of here. But no, she's like, it's okay.
I understand that you're going
But you do
through
have
a
to
bit of an
go.
issue. You have some problems right now, and I understand them. But but
See,
at
and
this present
Ashley's the character where I really like know a woman wrote it.
moment,
She's what gives it away. Ashley's character is why I know it was a woman.
because
Lindsay,
she's
who
just
wrote it.
she's
Too accepting of this horrible behavior. Because then, that goes away and then they're all together and Wendell's in jail and they're all really worried about it. But then the next day, Wendell gets released. Okay, but first of all, he meets the two prostitutes in jail.
yeah, who love
and becomes
him.
friends with them to the point that he ends up bailing them out and they are at the pool in the morning when the guys are in the pool like, oh, what are we going to do? This sucks. We're going to try to like trick people into thinking we fucked her when we didn't get to fuck her kind of thing.
Right.
And then they see him with the two prostitutes. They're like, well, honey, want some company? Oh, that's fine. That's really sweet of you guys, but I got to get some rest.
Right. And so they're just like, what is going on with Wendell?
Yeah. Like Wendell gets all the babes. So Wendell comes over and he's like, I only have like 5.5 hours before I have to rest and then go. And I'm not good if I don't have 8 hours. And you know what, Wendell? Me either. Good for you.
This makes him so
relatable.
It's like, yes. I can't be off of 5.5 hours of sleep. I'm going to be a mess.
And look great and impress parents.
Girls sing. How am I supposed to impress parents?
G-Money just put the chat. Wendell is a player.
Yeah.
Player. He is pulling. So Wendell's going to chill. This is the day. And now this is where Chaz gets his shot with Ashley.
Yes. Because he comes over he convinced her somehow that he has this new method of working out that is going to
elevate it.
Elevate it without, the typical thing that they always give you in every little not class, but like, this is the workout where you need very little
change
energy.
Your life. Yeah.
You don't need to, it's not that much time. It's only you just have to do it right. And your life is going to be different. You'll see. 5 minutes a day. So he gets there
and he's like stretching and recording them making stretching sounds together, trying to make it very
noises
sexual.
While you stress, while you stretch. It helps. It helps with the muscles.
Does it hurt? A little. But it feels good. So he's recording her doing this, and then
they both get on their backs and start doing an exercise.
Yeah,
and
then
this
he decides,
to me was the biggest thing in the film, where it was like, okay, we had crossed lines, but this right here to me was the biggest.
He immediately smashes his hand over her titties and gets on top of her, and the worst, like this is the cringiest shit. He tells her, just let it happen. I'm like, the person who wrote this has been raped. Just let me finish. Don't be a bitch.
It was, that was a hard, like, wow, this movie is really
going there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, it was really intense. And she's like, get out. And like, you get out now.
Did you, like, I don't know if they sped the footage up, but when she kneed him in the nuts, that was such a jarring cut. Whatever they did, it looked so brutal. Like, it was such like a boom. And
she's like, I don't need your fitness. Boom.
My God.
Oh, yeah. And G did also mention, our producer, editor, and she's a DP extraordinaire, that the cinematography in the stretching scene was beautiful. She looked angelic.
Yeah.
And for him then to do that baby angel that way, it was even more dramatic of a turn. She's baby angel, and he's like, this ain't happening.
I rewound. I watched that knee to the nuts 3-4 times.
Have you ever been kneed to the nuts before?
Not like that. I mean, I used to play soccer, so I've been kicked. I've been hit by soccer balls in the nuts. I've had plenty of nut damage. But that was such a jarring like shot that I had to like keep watching.
And he's like, "Does this mean you want me to leave?" No,
I can
buddy.
take it.
That means it's tea time, you fucking bitch.
The thing that I find interesting about like the dynamics here, we have the two frats, like both of them 1000% sexual assault on her. Our good guys, heavy quotes in bold.
Yeah. The lesser of two evils.
They feel bad.
They feel bad about how
Chaz is like, meh, whatever.
They're going to run for Congress someday. I like beer, okay?
But Chaz showed nothing. It was like, don't you feel bad?
No remorse.
No.
No,
Like, they straight call him on it. Do you feel bad? No.
Who cares? Here's $1,000. Give a shit. Ain't no thing to me.
So let's talk about Wendell meeting Nicole's parents.
Yeah, so when he's in jail with the prostitutes, the chief police guy, they tell him this guy hates people coming in from out of state and causing trouble in Palm Springs. He has no tolerance for them. And then he comes in, and the chief of police is rude to the prostitutes. And Wendell's like, hey, everybody's innocent until proven guilty. Don't talk to people this way. And he like, the chief hates this guy.
Hates him.
Shut up, rapist. You pervert. So just know that happened. And then I'll tell you, I kind of saw it coming. I knew.
Right. Well, there was just always something off about Nicole because she kept like the way she would play things. You're like, you kept going like, what is going on with Nicole? The
choices were a little weird.
She feels very sincere. And then she'll do something. We're like, what was that?
Yeah.
That was a weird behavior.
So when they're at brunch waiting for the dad to show up, the waiter comes over and Wendell is like, hello, sir. And like,
I straight laughed out loud. Brenda. That was like to me the funniest point in that film because he's just like, hi, sir, blah, blah, blah. That's such a great to meet you. Would you like a wine menu?
Yes. That guy knocked that role out of the park. That guy was great. That's how you are a day player. So good. And the wife is like, so like, what?
Oh, who is this kid? Well, tell me about yourself.
Please bring us some bread. We'll wait for my husband.
My parents they own the biggest farm or pig farm.
Pig farm. He's a pig farmer? Did you know that?
Pig farmer? No,
obviously,
Mom,
I did not know.
If I knew his parents were pig farmers, are they rich? Yeah, they're very wealthy. They own the biggest in whatever state that was. Iowa.
Iowa. You're like really like against saying Iowa.
I keep for some reason my brain wants to say Ohio.
I don't know. Yeah. They sound a lot alike.
I have some sort of this learning thing. Anyway.
So then the dad comes in and dun dun dun. It's Chief Buttface.
Who immediately like beats the shit out of him.
Calls him a rapist and beats him in public.
And then we have a scene with Nicole, quote unquote, apologizing to Wendell, who is broken.
And what I love is he took up for himself.
Stephen Jeffries played that scene so well. Like
it was brilliant.
It was like, it was a heartbreaking, sincere moment when she's like, I didn't know this was it. And he straight calls her out. He's like, you were smiling. You wanted this to happen. I don't know what's going on with you. I don't know what kind of weird.
I thought you were a nice person. And now I see that you're not a nice person. That's really disappointing for me. You tricked me.
On both of their parts, it was so well acted.
Well acted. The whole rest of the movie, they were so over the top with everything, but how sincere they delivered this. It was like a slice of a different movie.
Yeah. And I mean, I completely like that scene. There were many scenes with Stephen Jeffries that I really was like, I think he's great in this.
He's great.
And he, like, that scene just broke my heart. And I was like, that's when I was just like, as bad as this movie gets, as like harsh and uncomfortable and that it gets, it has such heart because of this scene.
Of those little moments, yeah.
it just was.
His moments with the prostitutes, his moments with her, like even his moments. There are a couple of moments he had with the guys that it was really sincere, like where he's like, "Oh, I want the top bunk, and this is so cool." Like there were things about him that were like little boy explorative, like naive, and I really bought it from him. That's why I was like, sometimes it's weird to think how extreme he was as being a nerd. It's like,
Right.
but it feels real.
But he never, and again, like, there's a specific point I want to discuss some of those things, but just that scene, he broke my heart, and I loved it. And
she looked really phased, and she was like going back into the gate, like, fuck, I have to like reevaluate.
She did have satisfaction after that.
I mean, who are you going to be when you're raised by that person?
Right. And she had this satisfaction of like my dad, and she had this weird relationship with her dad that was hard to understand. But like, I don't know, like him sticking up for himself and calling her out, it did affect her, and the acting in that was
brilliant.
Very spot on.
Oh, and then we're with the other guys who are now together, the frat boys, the rivals, and the
giving evidence.
Shitty ones.
Giving their evidence.
Which, by the way, are good guys. Went to a local photographer guy and had him splice the photos to
of him
this
on
guy
the
didn't
bed.
ask any questions. How did you get the photos of this naked girl?
Can you do
He's
this?
Just like,
do that?
Yeah,
bro,
I can do it.
I get it. I have been there.
Been there.
I've had
National
to
Enquirer.
Yeah, a good point. How did they find him?
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck? Palm Springs, man, you know?
Hey, I got a guy. I got a guy.
Yeah, like, what a fucking asshole.
So they're giving their evidence to each other, but while they do their little meeting, of course, Ashley spies.
Ashley sees that this is happening and hears what they say. And she comes in and she's like, so they come to the agreement that because the photos took place before the recording, that not JC and Chaz win, but our guys, Mother and Joey, they win. So they take the $1,000. So she comes in like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I heard you. Like, be honest. Now you're all lying to each other. You've used me. You've bet on me. Like, why are you treating a person this way? And they're all just like...
Yeah, and that's the moment when, like, Joey's just like, oh, you're right. It's so like, I was caught. I mean, he did feel bad after the thing, but, like, this makes him feel worse because he was caught.
He was caught, yeah.
And that was the moment where Chaz is like, whatever.
Yeah.
Chicks are just
Get
chicks.
over it.
Also, where did Barbara and Kathleen go?
Right.
They disappeared on us.
They're all pranking other people.
They had their own bed. That's another film.
Yeah. I want to watch that, though. Yeah, so then Ashley storms off, but then Joe is, like, going after her. I'm really sorry. And, you know, she's, like, upset, and she leaves, right?
She leaves, and then the phone rings. It's Nicole.
She wants to find him.
She wants to find Wendell.
We thought he was with you.
And so what do Mother and Joey do? They put Wendell as a priority. Finally.
They hotwire the Mercedes. They steal Chaz's car and go to look for him.
They go to the chief of police's house, drive the car in a pool
Drive the car into the pool just for fun. So, but then Ashley's storming her away, like trying to drive away from her problems, and sees that Wendell is broken down on the side of the road.
But while they drive the car in the pool, those guys get arrested. Of course they do.
Yeah, they do. The chief of police has them.
So they stop looking for Wendell, and then we go into Ashley going down the road, sees
Wendell's
trying
hitchhiking.
to,
the Jeep's broken down.
Broke.
So they sit out, and for me, this is Ashley again proving a woman wrote this, because after everything she's been through, I would see a male inside her and be like, "Fucking die, you prick." But she pulls over, and it's the bigger person. It's like, "What's going on?" "Oh, I broke down. And then they
because
connect.
she did recognize him from the resort or wherever they were at, because they had one tiny 3-second encounter at the pool very early in the film where she jumps in and he was like sleeping on a floaty, and it was like, oh, that was their entire interaction.
Yeah.
So they have a long chat, and she like is confused why.
And she's not suspicious of him when he's friends with rape
Not at
people.
all. Like she's like, oh, you
treating him as an individual.
Right. She treats him as his own person. It just being like, I know that you know these people, but why do you care what they
why do you care if they like you? And he goes, it just felt good. He was very honest with her again, very sincere about, they think I slept with Ashley. I didn't. They think that. And you didn't correct them. No, because it felt good to be liked. It felt like they really liked me. And she's like, gosh, it really matters that much. She said, yeah, being accepted feels good. And so they have that really sincere connection in that moment. And he admits to her that he's a virgin. Mm-hmm. And then she's like, are you? And she's like, I say no, or does that upset you? And he's like, no.
Like, it was a weird kind of a thing. And like, I wouldn't have minded, because from this point you realize, okay, I see what we're doing here.
Yeah.
We're going to connect our two people at the end of the film, and we're going to get them.
The two that have been through the most.
Yeah, they're going to be a couple at the end of it. And I understand it. However, I would have liked more than a 3-second scene together in the pool. Like, we should have she should be more aware of who he is as an individual throughout. Just small little things. They don't have to be a lot, that he's not involved. Because how does she know that he's not involved in this little scheme with his friends?
And let me tell you, like, speaking of that, like, we found, like, after they get together, they go back to the house, and Wendell is in there with her, and it is clear that they have slept together.
Right.
And then Chaz is like, well, here's $1,000. I'll clearly admit that we were out. You watch Ashley's face in that scene, she doesn't react at all.
Because
he's like, no, I don't want your money. Like, what are you talking about? No, I'm not part of that. But she doesn't even react. It's like, you know him well enough after having a roadside chat to not to have reacted.
That was a huge thing for me at the end. It did feel like they pulled the rug out of her character. Because like she was the hardest to get. And then she's like, oh, you were nice to me on the side of the road. Let's fuck. But and it was just like, not only that, but like, I don't care that you're friends. And she actually says to Joey straight up goes to her and is like, I'm sorry, I was wrong, blah, blah, blah. You know what? Any friend of Wendell's is a friend of mine. No! These are sexually assaulted her. You're done. Yeah. Sorry. And in our producer chat, G just said, I'll show them I fucked strangers. It's like, just not you. I'll fuck a stranger, just not one of you fucking idiots. I love the first time you and I spoke about this, you were like, with the moment you see Wendell and Ashley kiss, you were like, yeah, I did not like that. I almost threw up. Like, and I'm not joking. Like, the way that they kissed was so gross to me. Maybe it just reminded me of my ex. Let's talk about Lindsay Harrison, the writer. She, so do you think that, because there are moments in this where I'm like, okay, maybe the writing and the directing, something happened where, because in films I would like to get a hold of the script. Exactly. And I searched as much as I could to find information on her opinions on the film. Anything she had to say on the film. I could not find a single thing. It's like she just... I sold it. I sold it. Slowly backed away. It was like, did you write that as a way to... Because it is her first feature, pretty much only feature that was in a film in theaters. She did multiple like TV movies and worked on a lot of television. I think still comes in. I think she works on Days of Our Lives. Oh wow! Soap opera stuff. She pops in and out. And I don't know, like, because part of me is like, what was it? Was it you just being like, I have to give them the script that they want because I know that these types of things sell? Or was it kind of like a harsher critique on it? Because there are moments like the way that they assault her, to me, kind of feels like a statement.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
The way she reacted, there are certain moments where I'm like, was she trying to do something and then they just like pulled things back?
Yeah, the way that I hoped it was she kept trying to get things made, kept trying to get her script sold, and they couldn't. And so she was looking at, oh, I know what guys want, so I'll give it to them, but in a way that highlights what fucking pigs they are.
Because I think that was successful, but I don't think in order to get the point across that it went far enough.
Oh, wait, but another part that I loved is the very ending of the movie. They're all in the Palm Springs apartment. You know, Chrissy and Marianne are back. Everybody's having a great time.
Mother isn't in the scene at that point. The door knocks and they're like, Mother's here. Mother,
let's show him our butts. So everybody turns around and they all moon, and it comes in and it's Wendell's parents, and it like basically kills his mom. And his dad's like, oh, all my dreams have come true. Ooh, this is great.
Butts, even more butts.
Yeah. You're definitely getting that sauna. You're getting that jacuzzi.
Good job, boys.
So I just loved that. That's like the button on the end of the movie. And then he tells Ashley, you know, I'll call you.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, they're still going to keep in touch. And then you just know they never spoke again.
You just know that was done. She gave him the wrong number.
Yeah. Like, I can't believe this happened. Bye.
So the reason I wanted to talk about this movie is like years ago.
Oh my God. She said that there was a moment in that ending sequence where a girl just runs in and shouts, cool ball, and grabs just a regular ball and runs out with it. Yeah, some of the little throwaway dialogue was really fun.
I did a sketch years ago where one of my, at IO West, which is a comedy theater, used to be a comedy theater, it disappeared, but I did a sketch where, because we always did Halloween shows and we did them up big, and one of my writing partners in that team, she was just like, she brought an idea, was what if they did a sequel to Carrie, but it was a sex comedy? And I was like, hell yeah. And basically what I did was stole the idea and
just did that.
I just did it. And I was like, is this work for you? Great. Because that's what I do. I steamroll my partners. And so like I spliced together a bunch of 80s sex comedies.
They're coming for you now.
Yeah.
You've admitted it. They're coming.
And into different Sissy Spacek films. And it was like a sex comedy where she still had her powers and she's like making people's clothes fly off and things of that nature.
Hell yeah.
But this film, I used like 3 or 4 clips when and I was just like, I don't know what this is. I have to watch this movie. And you were like, Barbara Crampton,
Yeah. I mean, this was an easy sell for me.
I do want to talk about MVP. Let's movie MVP.
Movie MVP.
Woo!
It's a tie for me with Barbara and Kathleen.
I get that. I wish they were in it more.
I wish I had more of them. And I mean, because this is my favorite part, is Barbara Crampton's facial expressions while her titties are popping out.
The best.
It's
you know
the
what?
Best.
My honorable mention is basically, it's Barbara Crampton's hair. It's this. Yeah. It's her hair. It's like poofed out. It's crimped.
She's been electrocuted.
Girl, she's serving Barbara Crampton. I'm telling you.
Barbara Crampton.
Fully fluffy crimped hair. I love
it. It was so good.
For me,
everything about it.
For me, it's Stephen Jeffries. Just because he was the heart of the film for me. And like, there was a specific, like, so when you mentioned his pool scene, when he's knocking everybody in, that was obviously supposed to be a scene where we got a lot of laughs. He didn't
And
really
I
get a lot
had
of
so
laughs.
much anxiety. I just was like, I would kill this guy. Like this guy, there would be somebody who would get so fucking mad of their radio and their food. Like you don't fuck with people's food when they're on vacation. Into the pool. Like he would have gotten his ass beat. He would have been in the emergency room and the movie would be over. Like
so, like that scene, I just don't think it got the laughs. Like say if somebody like Chevy Chase would have done that scene, he would have got a lot of laughs out of it. He would have played it in a way.
Steve Martin.
He would have milked it. But conversely, there's a scene where he's on the phone with his dad the night after he hung out with Nicole.
And she's beautiful, Dad.
And he's talking to his dad, and he's like, and he goes into the refrigerator, he grabs milk.
Yeah.
Which we're going to see pop up a lot. Everybody drinking milk.
And he drank milk in the bar, too, when he just told Yvette, the waitress, she sees everybody's fake ID, she says, and goes, oh, I the country. Oh, that's not me.
But he's on the phone with his dad, pouring milk, going in and out of the refrigerator, and he's tying himself up in the telephone cord. And he's like all wound up, and then he hangs up and has to kind of climb out of it. Now, he plays that so sincerely and like absent-mindedly. It's so subtle and not even thought of. It's not a joke. It's just him. It's Wendell being Wendell.
Yeah.
And it's so charming the way he did it. Like, whereas if Chevy Chase did that, it would have been a 2-minute bit trying to milk every little thing. But this was like, no, this is not a joke.
No, that happened to him.
This is sincere.
He was just trying to get his milk and talk to his dad and just got in a jam.
And that's like, that was just like one of those things. And that like the scene with Nicole and just being heartbroken. There was so much heart in all of that performance. That MVP for him.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about remake, reboot, reimagining, remaster, or sequel.
And I'm voting reimagining.
Ooh.
As a dark horror comedy.
Give it to me. What is this plot?
It's the dark side of sexual assault on
It takes those
break.
sexual assaults way further. You want evidence? You want evidence? I'll give you evidence. It's just like a concrete room, chains hanging down.
Yeah, and it's like G said just now in the group chat, Ashley's story.
Ashley's story, it's scary. Is it from her perspective getting swamped at all angles?
Yes, it's a POV. Lots of gold chains and hairy chests.
And do we keep it as frats, or are they like rival sexual assaulters?
What's your vote?
Well, see, I go for a remaster. I want it to be a good quality, and I would like a remastered quality of the print, which it still looked good, even though we could only find it on YouTube.
Yeah,
I know I could order a DVD with a attached to like some other insane film, but I want a commentary. I want a Lindsay Harrison commentary on the track, on a remastered track. I want her to talk. I want to hear all that like behind the scenes stuff of it, because honestly, I did enjoy it, as painful as some of the things were, and honestly, not super funny. There were funny moments, but there was so much heart to the film and boobs. We don't need to remake those boobs. They were made perfectly.
They were made perfectly. And speaking of the heart in it, it was like even the terrible frat boys who had this rivalry, they ended up helping get the other two guys out of jail.
Yeah.
And the forces came together, and it was like, this is kind of going to change the dynamic back at Iowa State.
Exactly.
It's going to change the
There
dynamic.
there was some respect that happened over sexual
They dropped the
assault.
charges over them stealing the Mercedes. Well, he didn't really steal it. They really borrowed it and then drove it into a party and into a swimming pool area. We're going to forgive him. That's it. Like,
we'll do
movie.
our. That is the movie. Now,
and I give it a 10 out of 10. Even though, like, there are problems, I enjoyed myself.
I enjoyed myself as well. I'm not going to rate it. I'm not going to rate anything. I'm not going to recommend it to anyone. I'm just going to say, I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. I had a good time watching it. Yeah, so that brings us to Nostalgia of the Week.
This week's special guest for our Nostalgia of the Week is the internet guy, Kevin Weiner.
Oh, what's up? Oh, I'm your internet guy, Kevin Weiner. So, I was asked to do that Nostalgia of the Week stuff, during like a movie they did about like college stuff, people, a fraternity. And I was like thinking, I was like, well, what am I gonna do? But like when you're in college, like all you do is eat cereal because you're like broke and you don't have any money or anything. So I just wanted to talk about all the old cereals that totally are not around anymore and stuff. Like, cause like not like the obvious ones, like Count Chocula, Blueberry, like S'mores Crunch and stuff. Anyways, but like everything that got popular, like had its own cereal. Like Ninja Turtles were like Chex Mix with Lucky Charm, Marshmallow. So if you like Chex and stale Mallow, you probably really enjoy it. But then they had like Gremlins and Donkey Kong and Batman cereal, which were all like just basically Captain Crunch. But it didn't matter because like, you know, Gizmo and stuff. Also they had like Bill and Ted's Excellent Cereal, which was like, it was made by the Purina dog chow people, and cat chow and horse chow and pig chow and monkey chow. And it's all true according to the internet, which is like sometimes always right. But, anyway, apparently they made people shout too. They also had Urkelos, if you remember Steve Urkel from Family Matters. He was pretty cool. And then Mr. T had cereal, which I don't know about because Pee Wee Herman used to eat it. But my mom wouldn't let me get it because, well, sometimes she could be racist and stuff, which you should not do. Like, it's not okay to do that. Like, don't be... Like, if you're a person who has nostalgia for people being racist, like, probably don't. Just, like, not good. It's not good to do that. Anyways, bye. That's my Nostalgia of the Week. Have a good one. Back to you.
Well, this was a really cool trip to spring break.
Yeah, Palm Springs. Who knew?
Palm Springs.
Who knew how beautiful and colorful it was?
Yeah.
Or is.
I think next time I'm ready for a makeover that's going to make me look mostly the exact same as I am. It's going to be Palm Springs.
Well, it was good chatting with you. We'll
Good
see
chat.
everybody another time.
Yeah, next time. Later, taters.
Au revoir. Tater? You just call me a tater? You scallop.
Taters are delicious. Bye.
Bye.